Right, so we developed what we call a nanomagnetic cellular switch, and the idea is to sort of mimic the way that hormones and chemical factors like growth factors that travel around in the blood regulate all the cells in our bodies' functions. And what people have found is that these molecules often bind to multiple receptor molecules in the membrane at once. And so one molecule, like a hormone, would bind to these two receptors, and when they bind, they would be brought into close juxtaposition, and they'd cluster together. And many hormones would make many clusters. And then the clustering actually stimulates the release of signals in the cell that control its functions. For example, it makes it contract, it makes a nerve send an impulse. And so the key part that we thought we could harness was this actually bringing receptors together, but doing it magnetically instead of chemically. And so we did that by getting small magnetic particles that are at the size of receptors. We coat them with molecules, with one molecule that will bind to the receptor at a time. So this bead binds through one molecule to this receptor. It doesn't have many, so they don't naturally cluster on their own. This one is bound to this receptor. And then the novel property of these beads is that they're not magnetic under normal conditions, so they just sit. But then if we bring in a magnetic field, they magnetize and they become like little bar magnets, and the north cells pull on each other in the plane of the membrane, and they pull the receptors together, and then that actually is enough to turn on the release of these signals. And now, rather than giving a hormone and you wait for the hormone to come up in high enough concentration that many receptors abound and you get a slow turn on, and then it takes slow turn off to wash it out, we could just use a magnet and go on, off, and the receptors move back and forth, and we actually can turn this signaling on and off at the frequency we want. So we now have magnetic control. We've harnessed a biological control system, but we can control it at will using magnetic forces.